Today, I want to get into HYBE and why people want HYBE to file a report and what this is about. I want to get into people saying Jimin should leave events and newer events like Tiffany Co over Stalkers. I also want to talk about a celebrity getting into how Jimin is doing. So hey Dumplings, this is Dave Desai. Hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumpling, taste spilling mug merch, and let's go. There's been a lot of craziness happening online, and I wanted to get into some of the hate that we have seen going on online. I think a lot of this will make your head spin, so of course, let's talk about it. Jungkook has been getting a lot of mass hate lately, and a lot of it has nothing to do with anything Jungkook has done himself. Let's say you're a fan of Jungkook and you put him on your profile picture. You then have a debate with someone from another fandom, and things get a little too spicy or very heated. The argument doesn't even have to be about other artists. You could be arguing about anything random. In most normal cases, both parties would probably just leave, block each other, and then move on with their life. However, the other person who does not have the Jungkook profile picture might take a jab or two at Jungkook and say some nasty things. But it doesn't just stop there. Then some of these unstable people would make it their life mission to attack Jungkook and send Jungkook threats. Why? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. So there allegedly was a HYBE staff member that was on a chat with an army or something, and they were talking about how they were going to hurt Jungkook, making up stories and then also ruining the search. So when you type Jungkook's name on Chinese social media, you'll see Jungkook's name next to things that aren't true or are bad. First off, definitely needs to be more regulation with those things and what ends up sticking, because especially in K-pop, if you have just 100 people that hate you, they can flood the searches with something like idol's name and then rapist and do all that without proof, and most people see that and just think it's true. I don't know what people were thinking, but for some reason they thought that the leaked chat was associated with a HYBE or Big Hit staff. I think maybe the initial army who had leaked the text must have said it or something, but I found it to be quite weird. First off, I don't think HYBE would have had such a bad hiring process that they would hire someone who was this unstable to dedicate their life to ruin Jungkook. First off, you have to have an impressive resume and have to be able to show that you can do things that HYBE would hire you for. For example, if you're claiming that you're a top-notch makeup artist and you want to work with Jungkook and do his makeup, you need to show HYBE during the hiring process that you have at least worked with smaller idols or smaller labels, and even show the many clients you have done makeup on. This is difficult to fake when you have references and you have to show that you can do those skills when they ask. Imagine being someone who built their career from the ground up, put tens of hundreds of hours working on idols, and sleepless nights following idols around on tour just to build up a resume to attack Jungkook and then throw away their entire career. A creative career is hard. It's not this job that anyone can just apply to and get. It makes no sense that anyone that would get hired would be a sasaeng or stalker. So I don't believe it was. And whoever did this genuinely succeed in getting the fandom worked up. HYBE protect your artist and stuff like that started trending everywhere. People were saying that this particular alleged staff was using the tactic of the profile picture thing and pretending to be Jungkook's lover just so people who don't like what this person tweets about can send mass hate to Jungkook. And you don't see the problem here. The problem here isn't that people are choosing to have Jungkook as a profile picture. The problem is, why are people insulting someone's profile picture? If you don't like that person, then insult how dumb they are. Why go on the attack on someone or an idol who did nothing to you? But do I think HYBE is filing a report? I think likely with how big it has gotten so fast, it's being at least looked into. But similar to all cases that make no sense, if stuff like this happens every week, the team at HYBE will likely just ignore it. Jungkook will be okay, and I hope the people who are unstable will finally seek medical help. K-pop is a place where we can all enjoy the music and what we believe the artist represents. K-pop in America has been a representation of inclusivity, and we are able to see Jimin as the global ambassador of Tiffany Co to be proof of this. Tiffany Co is obviously a jewelry shop, and they invited Jimin to attend an event in New York. So many armies waited outside. I believe there was probably hundreds to thousands of people, and a lot of them were there to see Jimin. Although I'm sure all the other idols, actors, and artists that attended were fine with that. It must have been quite sad to see some big names appear there and not really have too many people that were specifically there for them. And when I say big names, there are a ton of big names. Tiffany Co knows how to pick them. One person that showed up that I think most people know is actor Dylan Sprouse. He was on Friends, he was on Disney for a long time, just an iconic person. person. He's been around forever. He went by to get his photo taken, and then he was off to his next thing he had to do. He walked by and quickly talked to the crowd to say, "Don't worry guys, Jimin is coming." And he likely knew everyone there was waiting for Jimin because ARMYs are not shy about it. And Dylan wanted everyone to know that even according to what he knows, Jimin will in fact make an appearance, which is probably reassuring, as if I attended the event, I'd probably be like, is this the right place? When Jimin actually did arrive, he was called the main event, and everyone freaked out. People were saying that he was so effortlessly attractive, and honestly, he really did look great. Jimin really doesn't have to try too hard and he will be attractive. And he was wearing a very simple outfit, and it goes alongside the current trend of quiet luxury. Quiet luxury, if you are unaware, seems to be the theme of all big brands lately. It's clothes that don't scream wealth. So no more clothes with all the logos plastered everywhere, and only clothes that you would notice if you did a double take and then were like, oh wow, this fabric looks really expensive. Tiffany Co has definitely been one of those brands. Since the beginning, their jewelry is very understated and simple, elegant like Jimin. So Jimin really was the perfect choice for this. People were definitely concerned at the amount of people that showed up and if this affected Jimin's safety at all. So let me give some backstory and we can talk about why this was a concern. Jimin recently did a meet and greet for his album Face. Given the weird and trying times that we are currently in, the meet and greet were done online and through video call. The staff sets a timer with each call, and I guess after the timer is up, the staff cuts off the fan and then the idol keeps going to the next one. I don't necessarily think this was done recently because of the pandemic, but might be more something that is now a regular thing people do because it opens the meet and greet to anywhere in the world and with people from all around the world who definitely wouldn't be able to fly in just to meet Jimin. There was allegedly a fan page and fan account that had signed up for the meet and greet and actually got a chance to meet Jimin. Now, if you are unaware, fan accounts are extremely controversial because a lot of them are accused of stalking BTS members just to get the photos that we see online. And a lot of the very professional photos that we see of BTS at concerts are allegedly stalker photos. But none of that makes any sense because cameras and those things are often checked at the door. So if they're allowed in, then they're allowed to take photos, or at least once upon a time they were allowed. As we can see, once they were not allowed, we've gotten way less of those photos because they're not taken in the way people think they're being taken, like in a bush from 50 feet away outside their house. A lot of these fan accounts are also accused of starting hate trains towards idols. So anyone who supports fan accounts is seen as a villain. Unfortunately, I am already a villain. So what's one more villain thing that I can do added to the list? Now, back to the meet and greet. When Jimin met this specific fan that was the owner of a big fan account, you could see his entire face light up, and this was controversial. People were saying that it was so bad that Jimin met one of his stalkers and the label needs to do something. And others were saying, look at how happy he got. He remembered the account and was so thankful that the specific fan had been there for so many years. And he even remembered the fan account's name. He's clearly happy. But others online were saying that if you support accounts like that, then you actually just hate Jimin. And I don't think that's true at all. You can definitely love fan accounts and support them without being a Jimin hater. In fact, most artists want to have a bunch of fan accounts. At least back in the day, having a bunch of fan accounts means you would qualify to be verified on your account because verification was given to accounts that were the real one and not confused with fan accounts. So there has to be a bunch of fan accounts first, and then the fan account also pushes BTS content. So if BTS's official page posts about music and the post for some reason doesn't reach all their followers, which is not uncommon as this happens with every platform, not everything posted gets shown to everyone, the fan accounts would be able to spread it further to those who may not have been aware. People were also concerned that Jimin was at the Tiffany Co event after the meeting alleged stalkers, that there were going to be more stalkers and that Jimin would get hurt. People were scared after he FaceTimed an alleged one and was scared that Jimin would get hit. But this is crazy and likely not going to happen. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thank you so much. Love the comment right here. Love you. Bye.